I also posted, because he's our Patreon supporter, we could talk about him, on Facebook.
Is that how it works? If you're our Patreon supporter,
does now.
We can say whatever we want.
No, Schaefer put on there like, oh, well, everyone's been doing it and it's a whole lot of fun. So posted a GIF how we met.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So I posted the skit. It's like Key and Peele or something.
Oh, yeah.
The teacher.
Aaron, the substitute teacher.
But when he breaks the thing, he's like, son of a bitch. And I said, you were the meanest freshman teacher I had. And yet I was still one of your favorite students after that.
Nice.
But anyway, back to podcast.
back to the podcast. Hang on a sec. I want to see if this picks this up.
So much work.
Yep, it does. It's like, all right. So I guess
we could just tell everyone what that noise is.
I'm crafting for the party. That's the tape runner. I am literally like using 2 of my fingers to hold this card in place while I tape it, and then the other ones are holding the microphone.
Unless you just don't talk when you do that, and then you can edit
and
all
then I
those
could just
little
yes, that sounds like what I want to do.
At least you have a lot of time to edit, unlike normal.
Well, you say that,
but
and
you really don't.
There are a lot of days between now and when this comes out. I have a party to prepare for, which is why I'm rolling my eyes so hard at you. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Hey, I was kind of right, and then I realized it wasn't actually a whole lot of time.
No, you weren't right at all. Anyway, I'm making food labels for our Harry Potter theme party, which is going to be epic, and I really hope that we didn't forget to invite someone who also happens to listen to the podcast.
Well, that's the thing. We kind of just invite everyone. So
yeah, but I didn't do a good job with that this year. Like, I kind of went on Facebook and clicked a couple people and then never said anything to anyone. So there definitely could be people that I left out. And
well, guys,
I feel
know by
really
the time you listen
bad.
to this, it's gonna be a little.
It's over. It's over. Because this comes out on Halloween.
I know. Oh my God. Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Aaron.
Yeah. You know what we should do?
Welcome to Crime Crazy, the weekly true crime podcast with Aaron Plime.
And Jordan Middleton, who's the one that's not
where
me.
we prove
that we know very little about our justice system.
But yet, we're here every fucking week. Doing it again.
You say that like you don't enjoy doing this.
No, I whispered it because sometimes people don't want to hear us curse, I feel like.
I think at this point they should know better.
Buckle up.
I have a crime today that I think Jordan's going to be saying the F word as much as I did last year. Or last week. Last year. Last year at this time.
365 days ago.
If you're wondering, we have not had anything to drink.
No,
we just have been crafting and crafting and crafting and crafting and crafting.
I know. And when I was talking to Mike, he said, didn't you already go over there and craft for the party? And I said, I'm sorry. I know you've never been to one of these parties, but once you come, you'll see all of the decorations we do. And I said, and everything we do is crafted.
Everything. I gotta still make a freaking broomstick before Saturday.
And I was like, so you'll see soon enough how much we actually put into this and how much time and effort. And I was like, you saw how long it took me to do the Tri-Wizard Cup.
That's right. Jordan made an epic Tri-Wizard Cup. We're going to have to just put party photos on Instagram or something because you guys should all just be jealous that you didn't get invited. Actually, I'll tell you what. If you can go back in time, if you have a time machine, come on over because I'm not telling you where I live.
Or just RSVP for next year.
There we go. I'm not telling you where I live next year.
I mean, unless we actually know you, then that's not weird.
Oh, yeah, then I'll totally invite you.
You can come into town. It'll be great.
All right. So, Jordan, it's Halloween in the future.
I'm excited because I love Halloween in the future. So, I feel like I'm probably having a really good day. I'm probably getting my candy ready right now. I'm probably not excited for the neighborhood kids.
you could avoid your neighborhood kids and come over and trick or treat with my adorable children.
Oh my God, no way. My even though the kids are annoying, my neighborhood is like one of the, like your neighborhood, like people come to trick or treat.
Trick or treat. I've invited several people to my neighborhood just to trick or treat.
I did that last year. I invited people. And, like, obviously, I'd always invite you, but you guys already have a trick-or-treating neighborhood.
We do. And that way, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Like, we can come home whenever we want.
That's true.
My children are going as a dragon and an elephant.
Oh, Sophie's being an elephant?
Oh, of course, because that's her animal.
That is her animal.
And I will probably actually put my Halloween costume back on, because I'll wear it Saturday.
Yeah.
But some years, it's too much work.
Yeah.
But this year, it's really not
necessarily appropriate.
Oh, yeah. Most of the time, like, it's way too low cut and I need to wear a sweater if I'm taking my kids trick-or-treating.
The first time I took Toby trick-or-treating, I went as yesterday's mistake.
You sure did. But he was only like one.
He was in the stroller, so really I took him trick-or-treating to get his candy.
Yes, that is also true. He was really cute. He was a tiger that year.
Yes, it was very cute.
Well, I mean, every year I've been like a typical Halloween slutty version of you name it.
And it's not even slutty. It's just very creative.
Yeah, well, no, it's usually like pretty. I feel like it's just that I always wear a corset on the top.
Oh, well.
So whatever else I'm wearing, it's always a corset.
When else can you wear a corset?
Well, that's sort of why I do it.
Yeah.
This year I'm not wearing a corset.
I know, that's weird.
I know, but my mother-in-law like sewed a whole cut. Do you know that she did that in one day?
That
like,
it still blows my mind.
She did it, I guess, with my 2-year-old while she was watching my 2-year-old. And then like the only thing that she did while Sophie was sleeping is she made the tail. I'm a dragon. I'm a really badass dragon. I'm actually a Hungarian horntail, which is a badass dragon anyway.
To be specific.
Right. Like Alexa earlier going,
oh no,
in about 4 minutes and 10 seconds. About?
Or specifically.
Right. Okay, back to the podcast.
Oh, okay.
So I think we should go 1, 2, 3, happy Halloween.
1, 2, 3, right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Happy Halloween!
Oh, we sound exactly the same. People are going to be like, ah. All right, guys, we're getting into the nitty and gritty. I wanted that to pick up. It's going to be really loud.
Yeah, I think it actually was really loud. I'm looking at the squiggles.
Sorry.
So, Jordan, what did we do special for Halloween?
So, I went with a little theme of my own choosing, that I picked crimes that happened on Halloween. Mm-hmm. That were obviously creepy.
Uh-huh.
And that both of mine today are unsolved. So it has that like
I'm kind of mad about that.
Mystery. I know. But I feel like just because crimes aren't solved, I was gonna say are unsolved, but no, that's not my point. That like I still want to talk about them.
Sure, it's just that I like to know the answers.
Well, maybe this can be one of those things where if anyone has any information, please come forward.
Right. I think there's a whole podcast about that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so I guess I will at least I can prepare myself in advance to not know the answer.
Yes, you're going to have to. Because
there's no answer.
There is no answer. And these are years and years old. So if there is an answer and I don't know about it, not today.
That's really funny.
So people might be able to look this up and find an answer because these are really old crimes. So
that's going to be really funny. We do sometimes get like corrections and helpful hints and things on Twitter. I don't know if I ever tell you about them.
No, I never see them. So sorry, guys. I'm just going to always think in my head that I'm right.
Well, no, last time it was, the story that I did with the nuns. And the nun got killed and all the Catholic schoolgirl. Yeah, it was really awful. And I kept saying that he went to Italy and then died, like he escaped to Italy, blah, blah, blah. And then in the end, I was like, no, it was Ireland. It wasn't Italy. And somebody had also sent that. And I was like, yeah, it just took me a really long time to say the right thing.
To know what I was talking about.
I actually had even looked it up.
Oh, that's funny.
I just, totally failed at the saying it correctly part.
Okay. All right, I'm going to start telling my story so you can edit everything like 5 minutes prior to this moment.
Okay, so that's not the theme I did.
What?
That's not the theme I did.
Oh, I know.
I did a different theme.
But that's okay.
Okay.
So that means it's like more Halloween and mystery and creepiness and...
Because you don't know my theme.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the mystery.
Mine is solved, guys. I was the one that did the work. No, I'm just kidding.
So, the first story today comes from a Halloween morning in 1981.
That was the year before I was born.
So, in Manhattan, which it's
Was
like
not where I was born.
No. Oh God.
Really?
As
Really?
soon as I start talking. Okay. It was Greenwich Village.
Okay.
Ron Sisman, I didn't look up these names, and Elizabeth Platzman were murdered in their apartment.
Ooh.
Halloween morning.
Halloween morning, murdered in their apartment.
Yep. The couple was severely beaten before shot execution style.
Oh my gosh.
Then their apartment was completely ransacked. Everything was about. Remember that part.
Okay.
So
everything was about.
Everything scattered
Like,
and
scattered,
looked through
okay,
and
all
turned
right.
over and painting a picture here.
Okay, yep.
So
picture.
Ronald Seisman, who knows, was rumored to be involved with drugs. So the police like initially thought like, okay, this was the motive behind it, some stupid
Sure.
drugs, which I would probably think the same thing.
Sure.
But
But.
the case took a bizarre turn
Oh.
when a prison informant claimed that one of his fellow inmates somehow predicted these murders weeks before they happened.
Because he did them? I
He's
guess he
in
was
prison.
an inmate at the time.
Yeah.
So it's then somebody who knows did it.
So the inmate ended up being none other than the son of Sam Killer.
Oh my God. Okay.
Right?
That's a name I've
So
heard.
I know, and that's why I was like, I always talk about our criminal minds.
Oh my God.
So, his real name is David Berkowitz.
Yes.
Well, that's the name he goes by, anyways. Because I kept saying a different name for him when I was researching him. So, quick little, in case you don't know who that is, in 1977, Berkowitz was convicted of a series of shootings that took 6 victims' lives and injured 7 others. There was always been speculation that he was involved with some sort of satanic cult, and
So that would have been a good Halloween one too.
Oh yeah, but that he was a well-known name.
He is a very well-known
So that's
name.
why I'm just giving a little background in
Gotcha.
case they don't know who he is. But yeah, he is pretty well known. So he might have been involved with the satanic cult and didn't commit all the Son of Sam like crimes alone, because it might have been like the act of a cult.
Right.
So that was his little backstory. So this guy is the one who predicted this murder weeks before they even happened.
So that would make sense if he didn't commit all his own murders and he was a member of a cult, then he
Yeah.
could know that it was going to happen because it was somebody he knew.
See, that's why I was like, maybe it was a cult.
Right.
Not he was, but anyone.
He
You know what I mean?
was
He
the
was
whole
the whole cult.
cult.
It was just him. He had multiple personality disorder.
Which isn't even called that anymore.
No, well, people know what I'm talking about. So according to this informant, Berkowitz had like this okay, hold on.
Okay.
So let me explain to you why it's taken me so long to read my writing. Because when I was writing this, that's what the first thing I had to write, since I nearly cut the tip of my finger off.
Yes.
So then I tried writing with my pointer finger and it started to bleed. So I said, okay, I can't do that. So I went back to my middle finger trying to write with my ring. So it's all sideways and messy to where I can't even read my own handwriting.
Did you want to explain about your finger, or do you just want people to think that you were like, here's a knife, I'm going to pull a worm tail and cut my finger off?
Either way.
I mean, he cut his hand off. I do know he cut his whole hand off.
She just meant purposely. Okay. So according to the informant...
So then that's a no.
we're just going to fly right over that one. Berkowitz had told him that his cult was planning to enter a home, not their home specifically, but a home
okay.
in Greenwich Village.
Is it Greenwich or Greenwich?
Greenwich?
I think it's Greenwich.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to go with that then.
Okay.
How am I supposed to know? If it
I don't
looks
know.
like green...
Which?
And then which?
Yeah, but think about the county that we live in.
Ugh.
But don't say it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, nobody would ever be able to say that. And think about my name.
People always say it wrong. Your name is a different story.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Well, that's true. Anyway, so that specific village on Halloween.
That specific.
That one. You know which one I'm talking about. Sorry, everyone who lives in New York that listens. So they would perform, this is still him saying this to the informant, that they would perform a ritual murder by shooting a couple in the head before ransacking the place to remove incriminating evidence. So what would the evidence be?
Yeah, no kidding. What is because that seems like it would create potentially more evidence.
Oh, yes. So when questioned about it,
go ahead.
When questioned about it, Berkowitz claimed that Ronald Seisman, guys, I still don't know how to say it, had a snuff film from one of the Son of Sam killings, I should say.
So that was so it wasn't evidence of the new murder, it was evidence of
an old one that he was going to turn into the police to get time off and charges dropped for a drug charge he had.
Oh,
so
man.
kind of the plot kind of thickens here, but no evidence was found to support this story, and Berkowitz didn't, obviously he didn't do it, and he wasn't going to tell, and he just said, "Oh, this is going to happen." But he did describe the couple's apartment almost to a T when asked about it.
Oh,
so and obviously there's no way he was in there. Like he was in prison.
Sure.
So that even gets creepier.
Could he have been in there before he was arrested? Because it sounds like this guy knows that they know each other, right? Or that.
But when he was arrested, because his murders and stuff started in 1960 something. Because 1977 he was convicted. So this is almost 4 or 5.
Okay.
So it was years later when this couple died. So even if he was in there, things could have changed. And from what it read, it felt more like he was describing it after.
After it was destroyed.
That's what I was saying. It really sounded like everything was torn apart. And
I thought he said it 2 weeks before. How would he have described what it looked like after it was? I am so confused.
So that's why I was confused, because he must be connected to some Satan devil person to be able to know the future and the past.
The future and the past.
His prediction was that they would go to this village on Halloween, perform. I'm not even saying it anymore. Perform a ritual murder by shooting a couple in the head. He didn't say he knew it was this specific couple.
Gotcha.
He didn't say all of that.
Right.
But then when he was questioned about it, that's when he started describing the apartment. So he was questioned after it happened.
Right, because why would you question him before? Because nothing had
happened yet. So, no one knows if he actually had this tape or, the snuff film or whatever. But no one... God damn it. No one knows if, I really don't know how to say his last name. I keep saying Sesman or Seisman. Sisman?
Sisman? Looks like Sisman.
And Platzman, I could say that one, had anything to do with the Son of Sam case or cult
at all,
or
right.
group or person or whoever. But it's still unsolved.
Interesting.
Isn't that kind of crazy that they couldn't solve, not to say a simple murder, but you know what I mean?
But one where somebody claims to have known and was obviously talking about it.
Yeah.
Then, why would... what
would be...
Unless he was just
people?
Totally BSing and it just so happened that... But that seems really hard to be on... Because he named the date, right? He said on Halloween?
Yeah.
So if he had just said... this is going to happen in the future, then there's a pretty good chance that is going to happen in the future. That's not that unusual of a killing. Interesting.
I know. So I thought that was kind of creepy. And then it had a big tie to someone famous.
Right.
And then it's still
very
unsolved.
Halloween-y.
Yeah. My last one is more Halloween-y than anything. So
really?
I'm excited to hear your story, though.
I went with Halloween themed.
Okay.
But not necessarily on Halloween because it didn't actually take place on Halloween.
It could still be themed, though.
I found a vampire.
A real one? I've seen a real vampire before.
A real vampire? How do you know?
I can't tell you, but I'll tell you when we're not recording.
What?
I can't tell you now.
I'm upset about this.
Why?
Like, because I'm trying to think of how you could know that someone was a vampire that you couldn't say on the podcast.
Because I need Mike here. I need him to help me describe it.
Oh, because I'm going to be like, no, that's ridiculous.
Oh, no, because he
was there.
He was there.
I see.
So, Erin is the biggest skeptic ever,
Skeptic.
guys.
It's
so
awful.
don't ever think you're gonna have a fun time talking about something creepy with her, because she'll be like, "Nope,
I
that's
can
not
pretend.
even real."
Do you want me to pretend?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'll let you know when.
Okay, so my guy, as somebody on Instagram correctly guessed.
Oh.
I totally should have looked up some of these names, like people who correct us and people who guess things and people who are great.
I know, but you told me not to look because I
did.
didn't want to know who it was yet because you had
Right, which actually was kind of silly because I don't think you know this person anyway.
Oh, probably not.
Not the Instagram person, the serial killer.
Yeah.
Okay, so my guy's name, Richard Chase.
Nope, I don't know him.
He's also known as the Vampire of Sacramento.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a pretty famous one. So probably like everybody knows except for
me. Yeah. Oh, well, you know now.
Now
what
I know.
You didn't
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
That's
Okay. So Richard Chase was born May 23rd, 1950. And even as a young child, he was kind of disturbing. He would kill small animals.
Oh,
he would start fires, like all the things that people who grow up to be serial killers supposedly do, which I've heard kind of both ways, like, oh yeah, that's true, and oh no, that's a really poor indicator. But either way, that's upsetting, and he would do those things as a child. And he also had a lot of mental illness and that kind of thing. So the first time that it really came out was when he was 25 in 1975. He had to go to the emergency room because he was very, very sick, and they diagnosed him with blood poisoning.
Oh.
And as they are treating him and trying to figure out, the cause of the blood poisoning, it comes out that he has been doing a couple of things that are really uncool.
Uh-oh.
One of them is that he has been drinking smoothies made out of the organs and blood of small animals that he's killed.
Oh.
And he just blends them up. I believe that one source said with Coca-Cola.
Ew.
And then
I'm not for like recipes for this, but I'm sorry. I just feel like those palettes don't
don't mix. I don't know. I guess maybe. And I don't know either, like, what Coke would do, like, the acidity and with the blood, like, does it congeal?
I don't know. I cannot drink Coca-Cola because I keep watching all these things that are like, oh, you don't have toilet bowl cleaner? Use Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you don't have engine cleaner? Use Coca-Cola. I'm like, I don't want to ingest it.
So if that was upsetting...
Oh, God.
I'm
not ready.
The thing that probably really gave him the blood poisoning that really contributed, because I feel like that's kind of like, it might make you sick, but it's not getting necessarily in your bloodstream.
Turning, just to let you know. So I'm not ready.
It's going to get so much worse. Okay. Do you want me to get you some ginger ale?
No, you're okay. Just say it.
He'd been injecting himself with rabbit's blood.
Whoa.
So...
Why?
I'll tell you.
Who wakes up and was like, you know what? You know what I want to do today?
I'm going to kill a small bunny and cut out its organs and blend it up and
inject it.
Inject the blood.
To be one with the rabbits.
Yes. No, actually, he was very concerned. He was doing this because he was trying to save his own life. He had delusions and hypochondria really, really severely. He believed that Nazis were after him and that they were... Time? No, it was 1975.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. I'm like, wait, did I miss something?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
They were after him and they were trying to poison him and they were giving him something that would turn his blood to dust. And that he would have to like...
He's not a witch.
No, And he would have to, I guess, supplement with other animals' blood.
With other blood? Because he's just turning to dust.
Yeah. Ugh. He also believed his heart was shrinking and that he had to...
Because of all the love you don't have.
Right? He's the Grinch.
Yes.
This is a Christmas themed one. But so he had to ingest blood for that. And then he also believed that his skull had like come apart, like all of his cranial bones. You know, like when you're a baby, it's not connected and then it grows together and kind of seams. And and that all of the pieces were moving around and that there might be like bones growing out of the back of his head. And so he shaved his head. And I don't know what year he shaved his head, but at some point he shaved his head so that he could watch for signs of this happening.
Ew. Yeah. So he was like off the deep end.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
So of course they have him committed.
Oh, yeah.
So they send him to the first institution and he immediately escapes. Mm-hmm. And so they capture him and then they send him to a second institution, which is for the criminally insane. And so it's a much more secure facility that he can't get away from. So while he is there, he's diagnosed with schizophrenia and delusions and hypochondria and probably 87 other things. I think autism was on the list, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And they give him medication. And at one point he has bars on his window, but he manages to catch 2 birds through the bars on his window.
How?
He must have been like
injecting himself with cat.
Yeah.
So now he can
now he can catch birds. No, he must have been like tempting them with bits of food and then he got them close. Maybe he got them in the window and then managed. I don't know. I don't know how you catch a bird through a window. I do know that at the prison that my friend is at, which sounds weird every single time I say it, that she says the animals there are really, it's like a college campus.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid of people because they get fed a lot of food. And so I imagine that a place like this is probably very similar because you can't have a pet. And so, and you can't really have any kind of companionship. And so probably
befriend the first.
Yeah. It's like a Disney movie.
Oh my God.
Well, not really, because he slit their throats and drank their blood.
Of course he did.
Sorry. After not very long at this institution, they said, you know what, with your medication, you're totally healed. Like, you're fine. You can go home. And his mom came and picked him up, which was not okay because apparently both of his parents were abusive when he was young,
that would explain why he's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Also not okay because the very first thing she did when they got home was weaned him off all his meds.
Of course she did.
So one of the things that it was actually a video I watched was talking about like why on earth she would do this. She must have been also not okay. I mean, she abused a kid and but because it wasn't like she thought he didn't need them. Because he had been doing upsetting things his entire life, and then, which she knew about, and then when she did wean him off his meds, he started killing all the animals in the neighborhood, including like people's pets, and he would drink their blood. Of course. And he ate a cat in front of her.
I knew there was going to be a cat.
Yeah, it gets so much worse.
Oh, no.
Anyway, so
I might need ginger ale.
You might need what?
Ginger ale.
Oh, ginger. I thought you said to drill.
Oh.
What does that mean?
Oh.
I do have...
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry.
It's crafting.
Okay.
I do have ginger ale.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So just keep that in mind, and we can pause if you're going to puke.
I'm not good with blood.
How bad would it be if I made you puke on a true crime podcast?
I have a very strong mental state right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. But I tell you what, an hour from now, I'd be like, throwing up everywhere.
All right, so don't think about it too much.
I'm not. I'm really not. So if it sounds like I'm not listening to you or it looks like I'm not listening to you, I really am. I'm just not letting it go through my whole brain.
I'm just not actively listening
not letting it go through my whole brain. I'm letting it go in
and
out.
Here.
Just swishing my mouth out with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not actually drinking it in.
Okay, that's a horrible thing to say when we're talking about drinking blood. So during this time, he drank a lot of blood. Mm-hmm. He only ate his organ blood Coke smoothies. He lost a ton of weight.
Did the mom make it for him?
No, I don't really No. Yes, I do. So what happened was after he lived with her for a while, he moved into an apartment with some roommates. They knew the kinds of things that he was doing and into, and it was really upsetting. They were like, dude, you have to move out. You can't live here anymore.
Okay. And they weren't like, oh, yeah, I just pay the rent on time.
No. He was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. And so they all moved out and left him alone in the apartment. So that's how he was able to, like, make his smoothies and drink all his blood. And
to have his own life.
At one point, he was arrested because he was found just covered head to toe in blood. But it turned out it was cow's blood. So they didn't even file any charges. And I don't understand. Like, he had been institutionalized for doing horrible things in an institution for the criminally insane. How do you not say, you know what, I don't think you're better. Let's either do that again, or maybe you should just go to jail, or you're gonna kill someone. But no charges were ever filed at all.
Oh my gosh.
So, December 29th, 1977, he murders his first victim.
Oh no.
It's Ambrose Griffin, who was a man who was just bringing in groceries from the car.
Oh.
And Chase drove up and shot him and drove away, and there was no point or rhyme or reason.
I would say he didn't take him?
Nope, he just killed him and left.
Okay.
So 13 days later, he went into the home of Teresa Wallen, and he shot her 3 times. Twice in the head. He then took her body into her bedroom and raped her.
Oh.
She was dead. So, and then he cut her open and stole her organs.
All of them?
Just some of them,
okay.
like some undisclosed organs.
Okay.
And stole a bunch of blood. Apparently he let it, like, you're not going to like this, just cover your ears. He let it pool in her abdomen and then drained it into a bucket. And he poured it in the bathtub and he took a bath in it. Then he came back to her body and cut off her nipple and drank her blood.
Ew. First off, that's not a spout, people.
I guess it's maybe a little bit like nursing.
My first
was his
thing,
thought.
When you said cut off her nipple, I was like, oh, it'll grow back. Because we always joke about this.
No, it
won't.
No, not for her.
Oh, that's sad.
Then, for some reason, I guess maybe because he was upset, I don't know.
You did a lot there, son. Go home.
Yeah, no, he went out into her yard, collected her dog's poop, and shoved it down her throat.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
that's
and left her like
almost
that.
Overkill. Like, not, you know what I mean?
Well, there's
like,
so
really
much on there that's overkill. But that is the one thing, like the rest of it.
It's like anger.
It is. It is very strange. It's like trying to humiliate her. And I guess the necrophilia is also not... The rest of it was like he considered it necessary to keep himself alive.
Yeah.
Which is not okay, and he's insane. But at least that makes sense why he chose to do those things, since that's what he believed was going on. But that has nothing to do with the rape and the dog feces.
No.
So, I don't know. Maybe all of the Nazi stuff was just an excuse and he was just crazy. Anyway, January 23rd, which was just a couple days later, he goes to his neighbor's house.
Okay.
He buys 2 puppies.
Oh, no.
He kills them. He drinks their blood.
No.
Then he drops the bodies back off in the neighbor's yard.
Oh, God. If I was that neighbor... Oh my God, guys.
Well, so I don't know why that never came up in an investigation. Like, why didn't that immediately come up in an investigation?
These puppies look a lot like the puppies I just sold. Fucking what's his face?
Chase, Richard Chase. Yeah, I don't know. So by this point, his delusions had progressed, and not only are Nazis chasing and trying to poison him, but they are also now flying UFOs.
Why wouldn't they at this point?
Right?
They have so much technology, being dead and all.
All right, so 4 days after the puppy incident, he breaks into the home of 38-year-old Evelyn Morath.
Oh.
So Evelyn is in her bath. She has 2 children at her house. Jason, who's her son, he's 6, and her nephew David, who is almost 2 years old. And so she has Dan Meredith, who is a friend, I think a neighbor over, and he's like watching them while she bathes. So I don't know, maybe she was a single mom getting ready for work, or maybe that was just a weird relation. That seemed very strange, but I saw no explanations for it.
Okay.
So while she's in the bath and he's watching the kids, Dan, the neighbor, the adult, hears a noise in the hallway, and he walks into the hallway to find out what's going on. Well, obviously, Richard Chase is there, shoots him in the head, and he falls down dead.
Oh my God.
Then he goes out to, I think, the living room where the kids were, and he shoots both of them.
Oh my God.
And they're both dead. Then he goes into the bathroom, and he finds Evelyn, and he shoots her. And then he takes her out of the bath, just like he did before, and he takes her into her bedroom. And while he's raping her, he stabs her multiple times. So he's just getting worse and worse. Then he drains and drinks her blood. And then he is going back out to where all of the other bodies are. And he hears a knock on the door, and it spooks him. And so he can't know it, but the knock on the door is a 6-year-old girl who was a friend of Jason's, the 8-year-old boy, who wanted to play with him. She was coming looking for him. So the knock on the door spooks him. Thank God he doesn't open the door and find this little girl there. And so he leaves. He runs away. So he grabs David, the 2-year-old, and carries him to Dan Meredith's car and drives away. And when he gets to his house, he does really horrible things. He breaks open David's head and eats his brains.
Oh my God.
And then his organs and his blood.
Ew.
And then he puts his body in a box and drops it at a church.
A church.
So, which I don't know, is maybe remorse? Is that like, here's this like baby back?
Bury him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or is that like disrespecting
I don't know.
the church? Like, look what I did.
Yeah, I don't know.
That could go 2 ways.
It really could. I hadn't thought of the second one. So, whether it was because he was sort of interrupted before he was done, or he just is so far gone in his delusions or whatever, he left a ton of evidence at this crime scene.
Oh, I bet.
He left a perfect bloody handprint, like fingerprints and all.
Like red-handed.
Very red-handed, yes.
Not to be funny.
Right. He, so it just... And there's some other stuff coming up, too, that I'll talk about in a second. But he just left all this, like, forensic evidence and other evidence of the crime. Like, I think somebody had seen him leaving the house and had seen
the guy's car.
What he was wearing. He took the guy's car. Like, all kinds of things. So he wasn't very clever about it. So that's when the investigation really starts to make some progress. Because, of course, they were investigating after the first murder, but there was nothing for them to really go on. So they have a sketch of him and what he was wearing, and there's like an orange raincoat was one of the things that he was wearing. And a high school friend, somebody he went to high school with, a woman, I managed to identify him from the sketch because she had seen him at some point during this like killing spree. Mm-hmm. And he had asked her to drive him home, I think. And she had refused because he was like really scary looking and he was acting really crazy. And she was like, no, I'm not taking you anywhere. And so it stuck in her mind. And he was wearing the same outfit that day that was in the sketch. She was like, oh yeah, no, that's definitely him. So that helped. So they looked into like his purchasing history. And sure enough, he had a handgun registered to him that matched the murder weapon in all the crimes. They searched his home. They found every surface covered in blood and bloodstains. It smelled like the inside of a rotting animal in the whole house. They found the blender. Which, and then they found body parts in his refrigerator. And they found a calendar. And on the calendar was the word today on a bunch of dates. So 2 of the dates were the dates of the 2 murders where he ate the people. And the other 42 were all future dates. So it was planned out. I guess that's maybe when he needed to consider, like, I'll need to take my medicine this day and this day and this day.
Oh my God.
So 42, he had planned out 42 dates. And it wasn't like every day. It wasn't 42 days. It was like a week here and then 2 in a row and then 2 weeks. And yeah. So in 1979, they went to trial and he was charged with 6 counts of first-degree murder. And of course, his defense team was like, no, he's crazy. And so they tried to get the charges reduced to second-degree murder so that the death penalty would be off the table and he would still go away forever. Like, they didn't contest that he needed to go away forever, but, you know, at least not death penalty. And the jury was like, fuck no. So they convicted him of all 6 counts of first-degree murder.
Good.
Yes. And the judge sentenced him to death in a gas chamber.
Oh, God.
So when he went to prison, the other inmates were really terrified of him, understandably. Well, because, oh my God, like if somebody turns their back on him for a second, might he not kill them and drink their blood? Like, he still thinks that this is happening. And I don't think he was getting like exemplary psychiatric care in prison, because that's not a thing. And so they always would try to talk him into killing himself. Like, you know, you don't want to go to the gas chamber. Just maybe you should just hang yourself. Maybe you should just, the Nazis are going to come get you, blah, blah, blah.
Dang.
During this time, he gives an interview to a reporter where he explains all about the Nazis and the UFOs and the blood to dust. He gives him a bunch of, I think it's macaroni and cheese from his pockets because he thinks that somebody within the prison is trying to poison him and he wants the reporter to like go test it for poisons. And so he's been storing mac and cheese in his pockets, which is one of the crazier things. It's not at all on the list, but it was like, what?
Yeah.
And he also requests a radar gun. He says that if he could have a radar gun, then he would be able to track the location of the Nazi UFOs and then people could arrest them. And
do you know how fast you were going? That's like a thing.
So, yeah. So he gives this interview. He's very open about everything because he's just batshit. And then in 1980, December 26th, so he had been in prison for like a year at most.
Yeah.
They find him dead in his room. He had been hoarding and had overdosed on his antidepressants and killed himself. Oh. And the whole world was like, thank God.
Ugh.
So there you go. It was a severely bloody case. I know that you don't like it and you're making this face right now that looks like you're about to throw up on the table. Look at all these crafts. Please don't throw up on
I won't throw up on the table. Oh, no.
But yeah, so that's my vampire spooky Halloween nonsense right there.
That is something special.
I know. How about you tell me yours? That'll get the taste out of your mouth.
I hate blood so much.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Because like my story, it was so bad, but I couldn't stop once I started. So I was like, oh shit, I know everyone's gonna hate all of this. It's
all
so
of it.
bad.
I know. I really am
sort
of like, having revenge on you.
So then, like this, like even when they take blood out of my arm, I can't look at it. Even though, like,
blood doesn't bother me
when
very
I cut
much.
the tip of my finger off.
I
grabbed it and I screamed as if I had seen a spider. Like, it scared me so much. And Mike's like, what the fuck's wrong? Like, he's freaking out, running to me. I'm like, ah! And then it like all hit me. And I was like, ooh, ah, ooh. I couldn't even look at it. Oh, God.
When I cut myself or I get blood drawn or I get a shot or something like that, it does make me really woozy. But, I mean, like, Tobin will have nosebleeds and it's just...
I can't handle that either.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I feel really bad for him, but it's just... blood. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. But I also have like a whole family of nurses.
Yeah.
So,
no.
Yeah.
My story.
I'm ready. Okay.
So it's very Halloween-y because it happens on Halloween.
Such a 12-year-old boy. It's very Halloween-y.
Halloween-y. Okay.
Halloween-y. Go ahead. I'm trying to take your mind off the blood. The brains were the worst part.
Yeah, that was bad.
The smoothies were the worst part.
The puppies, I hate to say it, but...
The puppies were so tragic, but at the same time, it was like... There wasn't very much detail there.
No.
I thought that would probably be the part that was the worst for you.
Oh, I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, if someone tried to kill my dogs and drink their blood.
First of all, it would take like an oil truck.
First of all, I would go to jail.
Now, Jordan.
You'd be calling me, collect. And I'll be like, quick, put the mic up to the thing, let me record.
We have 20 minutes. Did you pay for this phone call?
Quick. And then I'm like, well, I didn't have time to write it down, but it happened last week in here on the inside. That'd be me.
You could finally meet my prison buddy.
I know. I'd have to just be like, hi, can I request to go to this one?
I think if you kill someone, you're not going to minimum security.
Oh, shit.
There are very few murderers there. And they're like people who have been in prison forever. And so they've been downgraded to their security like level has been downgraded.
Dang
so
it.
no, you'd totally be in Fluvanna with the scary people.
Ugh, I know. One of my girls was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On to the story.
All right.
This is about a masked man.
Ooh, like a Halloween costume?
In 1982, 69-year-old Marvin... What?
That's the year I was born.
Oh, yeah, you were a little tiny baby. Marvin Brandlin and his wife, Ethel.
His wife, Ethel.
His wife, Ethel.
Uh-huh. That's a hard one to say. It's like Swedish short snout.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I don't even want to try to say it. They lived in Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Okay.
So this was Halloween night. Okay,
of course.
Get it? My first one was Halloween morning, and this one's
Halloween my
night.
God. My first Halloween.
True.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what I was.
I would say, did you dress up?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Did someone dress you?
I didn't dress up.
Yeah. So I was like, wait, I shouldn't ask that. So they were passing out candy to trick-or-treaters and whatever, what you do on Halloween. Mm-hmm. When a masked man came to the door and said, trick-or-treat, give me your money or I'll shoot.
Okay, I don't know if that would trigger alarm bells.
So it didn't. So Marvin and Ethel thought, oh, this was just some prank. Like, it's Halloween.
Right. Aren't you a little old to be trick-or-treating?
And they tried to remove his mask. They didn't think, they were like, oh, let me just see. But the man would not let him. He instead entered the house and pulled out his gun.
Okay, that's when the alarm bells would go off. I'd be
no,
like,
they still didn't go off for this couple.
Oh, no.
Because then he demanded the couple to go to the basement and empty the safe. And they're thinking very few people knew about the safe and that it was in the basement. So they're like, this must be a prank. This has to be somebody we know. Like, no one knows this.
Right.
Like, so the husband, Marvin, was convinced that it was a friend or family. It was just like, oh, stop. Like, who are you? Who sent you? Like, thinking it was some joke. Well, it was not. So before they can even get into they're going through the kitchen to the basement door, Marvin reached for the gun.
Oh, yeah.
Which startled the masked man, and he ended up shooting Marvin in the throat.
Oh, my gosh.
So that happened. Ethel's freaking out, obviously. And then this scares the masked man. So he flees, and his mask falls off. And they didn't get a good look at him. He runs, but his mask was there. You say they, but is Marvin alive? So how could he be alive? He was not alive. He did not make it. Okay. But I'm just saying, in general, no one saw him. Okay. No one saw him. So Ethel was so traumatized by her husband's death that she ended up dying a few months later. Oh. It was one of those cases where they've been together for so long. Forever. They probably died close together. Yeah. So, over the years, an acquaintance of the family had allegedly bragged about committing this murder. Which would make sense. I was like, well, someone had... because either somebody did it or they told. When... just thinking about it, when you think, okay, if I'm going to rob this house, usually safes are in their bedroom, and usually it's in their closets. Yeah. Normally. That's like basement on all the movies. Would never be a place I would think. No. It's a good place. Oh, yeah. So that's why I was like, and one, from outside of the house, 9 times out of 10, you can't honestly tell that they have a basement unless they have like those really big windows. Right. But even then, like, not every house has that. So I'm like thinking all these possibilities of you not even knowing they have a basement, let alone a safe in the basement
with stuff in it.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I would have probably thought it was some joke too. Like, how would you know?
Sure. And definitely someone they know.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why. So this acquaintance, they never really talked about who it was, or, you know, he, I guess, bragged about it, which
usually is how you get caught.
Never makes you look cool.
No, so, that's true too.
So they did DNA testing because they had the mask.
Oh, yeah.
But there wasn't enough, like, usable material to do an adequate test on it.
At the time, do it now. Do it now.
That's why I'm like, ugh. Well, then I'm like thinking about how long it takes DNA tests because we always talk about like the 23andMe shit.
Well, and that was for like paid DNA tests when the that case in Yorktown. Yeah, took forever.
Even then it took forever. So this, the 80s, really, far less technology as now. So I'm sure everything was a little slower then. They couldn't do an official test, so they had to leave it pretty much unsolved.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so frustrating because there should have been plenty of evidence. And there would, like today, if that happened, there'd be plenty of evidence.
Oh, yeah. Like so I was reading a bunch of like crazy Halloween crimes, and not every one I read. Like the last one I read was so funny, but it was so short. Like it was like a few sentences long. Like this couple got into a fight, and the woman and it was over Halloween candy. Okay, so this is how funny it was. So she like ate his Halloween candy.
Oh, okay.
And he confronted
that
her.
Is a crime
and
right
they got
there.
Into a fight, and she threw a plate at him, and it ended up breaking and gashing above his eyebrow.
Oh my gosh!
So then he ended up getting like a bat or something and hitting her, and then ended up shooting her. Like,
my god!
It escalated so quickly over Halloween candy, and I told Mike, I said, "This would be us, but I would be the one pissed that you ate my candy." And he was like,
"And you'd be throwing the plate."
You would be both parts of that story. So I was like, that might be accurate, but
first I'd throw a plate, and then I'd beat you with a bat. And then
like our Halloween cereal.
That's so
comes out.
Tragic. Like, oh my gosh!
I was reading it.
There had to be major issues.
She threw a plate. Oh, he got cut, so now he's really mad.
Right.
And that. Yep.
Oh my gosh!
I hate how much I yawn. I'm so sorry. I can't believe it's Halloween in the future.
It is. It's Halloween.
Well, I gotta stop saying in the future because they're listening to it today. I can't believe it's Halloween today.
I can't believe today is Halloween in a while.
Cute.
So, sad news, happy news.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both, but after this episode, guys, we're going to do one more and then take a little break for the holidays.
Yeah.
We're coming back 100% and we're super excited about it. But we just
have a lot going on separately that if we try to meet together every week, we're probably going to end up dying.
Yeah,
so things are about to get really... We can't talk about it yet.
We can talk about it.
Oh, well, yeah. I would say it's my birthday, so
That's why our holidays are starting early. Is because Jordan is going to be getting older.
I know. So
because apparently you only get older one day out of the whole year. The rest of the days you're not getting older.
Wouldn't that be funny though?
Right?
Like, all
if you just aged 1 year on your birthday.
But think about the difference between 1 year old and 1 year old and two. Like, and all of a sudden it's just like
newborn and 1 year old.
Oh, yeah, that's creepy.
Right?
All right, we're tripping each other out.
Okay, so
yes, our holidays start, and then like life stuff starts sooner than the holidays.
It does. Jordan's birthday starts, and my new job starts.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I will be too busy
getting in your roots.
Yeah,
figuring yourself out,
figuring everything out. And really, we just don't want to not put out an episode like out of the blue. So there's our long-winded excuse for why you're going to have to do without Crime Crazy for a couple weeks. Yeah. And then as soon as the holidays are over, we will be back.
Because it's like our end of the year is very busy.
Plus, you guys are going to be way too busy for us anyway.
Because it's your new job, my birthday, Thanksgiving, Tobin's birthday.
Yep.
Then
David's birthday.
My Mike's birthday.
Yeah.
Christmas. New Year's.
Oh, Betsy's birthday's in there.
Betsy's birthday. I knew I was forgetting something.
Yep.
I was like, there's another December around here.
It's craziness.
It's so crazy.
So, although we have discussed it and we're trying really hard to do a special holiday, so don't forget about us because we'll have an episode in there when you least expect it.
I know. Because then you're all of a sudden going to be like, oh, it's here.
It's here.
It's here like a Christmas present.
That's right. So use this time wisely. Go back and listen to the first, 35 episodes.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have plenty to listen to.
And then we'll be back for season 2.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But between now and next week, and between next week and next year, the rule is still the same.
Yes. Do not end up on next week or any other true crime episode for any podcast ever. I'm going to extend it a little more because I feel like we're not going to be here to remind you every week.
Right.
So
general rule of thumb.
Don't end up on anyone's true crime podcast because
Nope.
we're friends with a lot of those people. And
That's right. We'll know. Even if we're not here, we'll find out.
Yes.
And have a great week. See you in November.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Crime Crazy. We hope that you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed making it. If you like our show, please tell a friend, or better yet, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes or your favorite podcasting app. We really appreciate your feedback and want to give you a shout out on the next episode if you leave us a review. If you leave us a review somewhere other than iTunes, just let us know. If you loved our show, consider donating to our Patreon. We have lots of great surprises that we want to share with anyone who supports us. And let's be real, it's really just an excuse to send you cool stuff. Thanks again, and remember, even though we really have no idea what we're talking about, we'll be back next week to talk about it all over again.